How much thinking is too much thinking? That's a question I didn't think I'd have to ask, but here I am asking it. Usually live in my head. That's just who I am. I've always been somebody who's an observer, somebody who, oh my goodness, somebody who calculates what he's going to do. Of course, that was crazy. What's the best course of action? What I should be doing with myself? What's the meaning of life? That's a good one. Always thinking of all these random things. But how much thinking is too much? Oh no. Now, I think, funny, when it comes to thinking, too much thinking is when you're drawing random conclusions or random scenarios, you know? So say for instance, you're at the park and somebody looks at you funny, and I mean, they might have not have actually looked at you funny, but you might have thought they were, and you start worrying like, what did I do? Did I do something? And even if they did look at you funny, or even if they didn't, you know, if it's some random stranger, why would it matter? Because they're just a random stranger. They're not going to, you know, change your life for the better or worse. Possibly. I mean, sometimes maybe, but for the most part, they're not going to matter in the longevity of your life. But if you sit there thinking about it hard enough and long enough, you'll sit here and start trying, you'll end up picking apart things that you do not like about yourself. Like, for instance, say if they look at you funny while you're eating, you could think that you're a messy eater, or, you know, it's usually bringing out some form of insecurity in yourself. A lot of overthinking revolves around an insecurity in yourself. And you might think to yourself that, no, I mean, I don't think so. I'm not insecure about anything. Then why are you so worried about why that person gave you a funny look? That's my question. You know, it's thinking too much comes in many forms, and now you may be asking, how do you stop thinking? And short answer is you don't. However, you can use your thinking to be productive in some way, some form. You know, there's scientists, they sit there and think and ponder, and they come up with solutions and, you know, tests based on their thoughts, their ideas. So you could be a scientist if you'd like. You can be a scientist and you can think to your heart's content. And who knows, maybe you'll create the next biggest thing. Maybe you will be the next Tim Cook or Bill Gates. But, you know, maybe science isn't for you. That's okay. There's plenty of other fields that require thinking. You know, doctor. Doctor is one of them. Or philosopher. Somebody, like, there's plenty of opportunities for you to use your mind in a positive way. If you're somebody who, oh, diamonds. Lots of diamonds. Okay. But yeah, if you're somebody who likes to think and you have a tendency to overthink, maybe you should take a second to think about why you think too much or what you're overthinking about. But don't overthink it. Don't overthink the overthinking. Because if you overthink the overthinking, then that's defeating the purpose of thinking about your overthinking. Does that make sense? I hope so. Funny, speaking about thinking, I can't think of what to say. I guess I chose this topic because well, it's one of the only times I get to record, so I figured I should be productive and record something, but by the time I had all these video ideas, all these topics that this happens to me a lot. I have all these topics that I want to go into, and then by the time it comes around, I just can't think properly. And, that's why it's probably better to strike while the iron's hot, but I don't really get that opportunity because I have a job and things that I have to do. I have priorities. So, at my job, I have a lot of time to myself, and it gives me lots of time to think. So I can come up with really, really intricate ideas. I can come up with various talking points and topics. But by the time it comes down to it, I just couldn't think. So I figured I'd talk about thinking. And how thinking is helpful. I guess I already covered that. I don't know, man. Sometimes you just gotta get out of your head. And oh, what the hell? Mine shaft? That is insane. So, yeah, how do you get out of the rut that is overthinking? Ooh, that scared me. I almost fell right in there. Now, how can you stop overthinking? Because obviously it's easier said than done. And what I find is helpful is do something to keep you busy. Like, I didn't know what I wanted to do for this, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go mining. I have that mine shaft underneath the house, I'm gonna go mining. And I didn't know what to say, so I'm just kind of running with random thoughts as I mine. And, I'm being productive. I'm doing something that's taking my mind off of the overthinking, or the thinking? The thinking of overthinking. So, if finding ways to keep yourself busy, or giving yourself like a creative outlet to, you know, relax some of that thought process. Ooh, I heard it. Is there like a mob spawner or something? Probably at some point. But yeah, one of the best things that you can do for your overthinking mind is find something to take your mind off of it. Find an activity, hit up a friend, tell them that you need some time with them, tell them you just you don't even have to explain yourself too much. If your friend's free, then they're free. If not, just find something else to do. You just keep yourself busy at least until the overthinking subsides and you can kind of come back to it with a clearer mind. I think I can speak for a lot of people that, we live in our heads. I mean, I know I definitely do. I sit here and I think about every little thing that has ever happened or will happen, and it's helpful sometimes, because I'm pretty prepared, I'd say, for when a situation arises in which I need to be prepared. But a lot of the time, I just overthink it and make it so much worse on myself. Ooh. It's not healthy. Overthinking is not healthy. Thinking is healthy. Overthinking is not healthy. And how do you know the difference between overthinking and regular thinking? Well, for me, I know I'm overthinking when I start imagining scenarios that didn't happen or would happen, or I start drawing conclusions about things that aren't even like relevant towards what the original thing was. Like, God, I can't think of an example off the top of my head. And we should make like a drinking game out of how many times I say the word think. So yeah, I tend to notice I'm overthinking when I start drawing random conclusions about things that aren't even connected, or just things that seem implausible, that would be implausible based on what I know of people or things. And not all that, you can't always stop it. Sometimes you just gotta ride with it. Sometimes you just gotta ride through the storm. Wow. Just balling right now. Look at that. Another good way to stop the overthinking is to ground yourself. Like, find something that brings you peace. Like, what I just felt a little overwhelmed, and I took a real deep breath, and I paused, and I breathed in, breathed out, and it felt a little nice. I don't feel as flustered at the moment. It doesn't have to be a crazy ritual. Some people have crazy rituals, and that's okay. You can have a crazy ritual, but sometimes it's just good to keep it simple. And being simple just has to be simple. You don't have to be like, oh, how do I be simple? You just be. Another thing that I struggle with is when I'm overthinking, thinking about things that have happened or will happen, like I said, and that usually comes out of not living so much in the present. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean, you could obviously you're living presently right now, but I mean when you're in the present and you're actually like aware of the moment, if you're actually engulfed in the moment, you're actually experiencing the moment. There's definitely a zombie spawner somewhere. Now, what does it mean to be in the moment? Um, being in the moment is just being aware of your surroundings, being aware of what's going on, just being present, enjoying what's going on right now. Sometimes it's a good, sometimes it's a really good idea to just sit back and smell the roses. As much as thinking is a part of our human evolution and growth, it's also important for us to just be. If you look at animals, I bring up nature a lot. If you think of nature and animals, they're not worried about what's gonna happen tomorrow. They're not worried about the fear of missing out on what's gonna happen in their lives. They're just existing. They're like, I must have food, I'll eat. When I'm done eating, I walk through the grass or whatever it is. They don't think as much as we do. Not to say that animals don't think. A lot of animals are very intelligent creatures, but they're, for the most part, they're just there. Sometimes it's better to be here in this moment, than there in your head. Now, does that mean to stop thinking? No. Obviously, we're human. We think. We're gonna overthink. We're gonna underthink. We're just gonna think. That is our natural state. Thinking. We're gonna come up with ideas. We're gonna imagine fake scenarios where we're beating that person in an argument from like 4 years ago. Oh no, that's nice. And sometimes we're just gonna be imagining what our lives could be like, what our lives are gonna be like. But at the end of the day, that's a problem for us to worry about tomorrow. Don't don't worry about tomorrow, just live for today. Don't know who said that, but that's what I'm feeling right now. So, on that cheery note, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like, Subscribe if you're new around here. I post every Monday and Wednesday. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace, broskies. See ya. Editor's note. On my way up, I noticed a skeleton spawn on the top of my house. So I trapped him in glass. And gonna name him. So just comment a name for him maybe. Thanks again. See ya, broskies.